So in the last week, I've bought over $100,000 worth of profit. And I'm not the only one. My team has. We've all bought on the market, OTC from other users, whatever it might be. We've all been putting a ton into the token. And this isn't as some sort of cheap ploy that some projects do when they first launch and doing buybacks. These aren't buybacks. I'm never going to sell my tokens. I mean, ideally, when I have kids, I'll give them to my kids. It's just, I kind of want to use this video as an unfiltered way and to sort of speak freely and raw. I've got no topics, I've got no script. It's just to explain why I've got this bonfire in my chest and my stomach of just excitement about profit bots. I think over the last month or the last few months, as a team, we've become much more structured, much more efficient, have a way better grasp of things. When an issue comes up, we solve the issue. When people have complaints, we act on those complaints. When we have criticism, we look at it, address it, whatever it might be. I just feel like we're operating really fluently at the moment. And this has kind of resulted in a bazillion items of excitement for me. So I thought this would be a good video to kind of just speak freely and go through what the next few months of profit looks like, what the rest of 2024 of profit bots look like, and kind of fill you guys in on a day like today when the market's in utter turmoil, and no doubt some of you may need/want reassurance, and of course I'm here to give it, but nothing changes with profit bots. It's full steam ahead as always. So yeah, let's dive into some things, talk about everything, and yeah. So I think the first aspect, I'll first talk about, just in case any user wants reassurance. I know I've been in that spot. I've been obliterated today, as I'm sure most have. And it's always nice to get some reassurance, right? Especially when the timeline on Twitter is just, everyone is doom tweeting. It's horrible. So, okay, so first let's talk about why I think profit can exist in a bear market. Some of these points I'll probably have made a few times before, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to narrative. Narratives are a huge thing in crypto, right? We've seen this year, we had a few big ones. We had DeepIn, we had AI, we had RWAs. All of these have come and more or less they've gone. It's all just moments of hype, right? And they could be a really good trading opportunity, but not necessarily something that remains important in crypto forever. At one point there might have been an AI equivalent back in 2016 where everyone was chucking money into, and then that becomes the norm, and then that fizzles out, and then that sort of market share gets spread amongst hundreds of tokens rather than just the few leaders. Now, I think with us, our narrative is making money. Since the birth of crypto in 2009 or whatever, I'm not going to give a history lesson, but more or less, the leading narrative and the main narrative and the narrative that's been around for 99.9% of the time is making money. I don't know about you guys, but I heard about crypto because, oh my God, this guy's making X amount of money in crypto. What the fuck's going on there? That interests me, right? And no doubt, probably the same for all of you guys. You guys have all, I'm assuming most of you already a part of profit bots. You've invested in profit bots because of we passively earn an income or money for users, right? And that's of interest. So I'm sure you can all relate to that. This narrative, it continues even when we're in a bear market. Yeah. Let's go back to 2023 October. Around then, I think ETH. I'm probably gonna be wrong here. If I'm right, ETH was lower than it is right now. Same for Bitcoin, way lower. But tokens were still cropping up. We had Grok, which is hundreds of millions. Or back in March, I think it was, when ETH was far lower, same for Bitcoin, Peep came along, or Pepe, however the fuck you want to pronounce it. That went to billions. And so my point is, there's always opportunities so long as there's volume. Yes, volume can go lower during these days like today. Well, I mean, that volume's actually been crazy because of volatility, but on chain, I think there's been about 4 mil if you go onto Zenith. It's actually more, but Zenith filters it in a certain way. And my point is, so long as there's volume, there's opportunities. What we do is we get those opportunities, we give them to you, we automate them for you. You don't even have to look for them, we do it for you, right? I mean this really, when is that something that the market would not be interested in? that's always something the market's interested in. That's always something I'm interested in. And if I'm always interested in it, then surely a bunch of other people are, right? It's not something that fizzles out. It's not something where we're gonna have to ride the wave. Oh, RWAs are suddenly the hype. We've got to capitalize on this, go crazy on Twitter whilst it's around for a few months. No, it's something that's always around. And leading the team, I know I'm going absolutely nowhere. I've got crazy high ambitions for profit. And I know all the guys working with us putting in ridiculous hours. I know Ben over the weekend's been nailing the speed improvements, but we'll get to that. You know, everyone is fully committed to just making this a wild success. And I'll go over some concerns that might be popping into your head right now in a little bit. But my point is, we're building around something that doesn't go away. It's something that's existed in crypto since day one. There's ebbs and flows in the market, but profit will remain. Profit will keep building. Profit will keep delivering. Profit will keep improving. And I think I always knew that, but it's something over the last few months that's really like become just extra apparent and at the forefront of my mind constantly. Like we're building a business, we're building a project, and this token is surrounding something that just doesn't, it's always relevant. And I think today is just a good opportunity to speak about this, especially because, you know, I know the token's gone up a bit today, but it's just, it's something I feel like weirdly peaceful in knowing that we're building a project like this where it's just always relevant and there's so much, you know, opportunities and directions to go with it. So yeah, I think that kind of ties up my thoughts on the narrative aspect of things and in not to worry about profit bots. We're not going anywhere. The concept of what we're building is definitely not going anywhere. And yeah, it's all exciting. It's very, you know, it's cemented. And yeah, let me explain why the next few months, the rest of this year are going to be super, super exciting. Before I go into it, I just want to preface, I'm not going to give exact dates. I promised the team I'd stop doing this to them. It just gives them uncomfy working conditions. But at the same time, I do want you to know, I recognize how important momentum is in crypto. I recognize how important market awareness is. And you start slipping, the market will forget. And before you know it, you're dust. So I do fully realize that. And momentum will continue throughout. And I'm not saying the timelines, but if I did say them, you'd all be happy anyway. Like it's, I mean, I'm being honest there. Like they are timelines that are very, very soon. Okay, so I want to first speak about the progress we've made over the last, let's say, 2 months, and mistakes we made upon Autosniper launch and what we've done about them. So the Autosniper launched, I think, around May. We launched with signals that were pretty dated, right? And much of just speaking freely here, much of the focus had gone towards the Autosniper, the terminal, making things scalable. But at the end of the day, what matters most is profitability. And the signals were dated. There was too many of them. The drawdown was too much. Yeah, of course, you know, some people hit 20x. Some guy made, you know, it's 5 figures in some trades, but it wasn't consistent enough. The drawdown was too much. And ultimately, people weren't profitable. That's renders us useless, right? Who cares if the terminal's fancy? If you're not profitable, you're not profitable. That's it. So, firstly, addressing the algorithm, we've made drastic changes to that. I think that's been pretty much noted across the board. God mode is more or less profitable for most users, depending on your settings. I think those running at around 10 to 15x for a take profit. You know, you've been making last month maybe a few thousand, and that's awesome. But I mean, in crypto, a few thousand, we want to go higher. But at the same time, I don't want you to underestimate a few thousand is someone's monthly salary. That's all automated. That's crazy, right? I think hedge funds try and do 12% or 14% a year. A few thousand a month must be, I don't know what, not higher than that, right? Depending on their bankroll. And so we've really cut down on the quantity to reduce drawdown, the quality to get more Mooners, whilst being market adaptive. So when things slow down, we're not still chucking out tons of signals. I think in the last 24 hours, we've just had 1 or 2. So it's much more, you really can just, as I always say, go away on holiday for a few weeks, turn on airplane mode and so on. And we've made huge step forwards in that. God mode is, I'm super happy with it. Money mode certainly needs some more work, though it's very close. Pushing an update for it tonight, which I think should be pretty significant for its results. It's hard at the moment because of the, you know, it's not too many Mooners being launched, but so it's hard to measure, but we'll be tracking it anyway. And then another thing that was not ideal during the Autosniper launch was stability. It was up and down, and that's not good enough. You need to have, the idea is, it needs to be fluent, right? You need to be having all the confirmation messages, you need to be updated about the process. And then thirdly, speed. The speed in getting into the, you get the signal and how long does it take you to actually, your transaction to go through on chain. We have seen a massive, this is one of the biggest things I want to talk about, a massive improvement in the speed on this. So this was more or less completed over the weekend and should be pushed within the next 24 hours or so. JP and Ben and some of the team are testing that as we speak. And let me explain why this is so big. So in Ethereum, a block is mined every 12 seconds. I'll try and not make this boring. A block is mined every 12 seconds, okay? So that's as fast as we can go. More or less, we have about 1,000 milliseconds, which is around a second of processing going between our signals to Horizon, which is our executor. And then any remaining time that's waiting for the block to be mined. So say if a block's every 12 seconds and we're 7 seconds in, we've got to wait that 5 seconds. But so in theory, we are, and in actual examples, we are now at as fast speed as we can possibly be. We can have 2,000 of you running the Autosniper, and Trump, Grok, Doge comes through, and all 2,000 of you are going to be in on the block straight after that signal. It can't be quicker. And I think this solves a few things. This solves holder sentiment because it's just annoying to see, right? You must all, when a God mode signal comes through, I don't doubt all of you get the notification, check it. Where the fuck's my buy confirmation? Now it'll just come straight through. So it improves holders' sentiment around the token in the community, just happiness overall, right? That's really important. Second thing, obviously profitability. We don't want to wait that minute for all the other market contestants to get their buys in before us. That's now eradicated. And thirdly, any possible exploits or if someone, the signal comes through and people can manually buy it before the Autosniper. That's now gone. This is completely solved. We could not be any quicker. And I think this is a huge step forward in profitability for the Autosniper. I don't want users to underestimate how important that is. It's one of many criticisms that people have been making, and it's another one of many that we've responded to and acted on and delivered. And I'm not here to gleam and boast about how the team's delivering on stuff, but it's just more so to show anything that seems problematic, or if there's any issue, we'll address. We'll get on top of it, we'll fix it, we'll make it better. At the end of the day, it's all about profitability. Anything relating to that, we'll make sure it gets done. Okay, I'll be honest, I just had to stop the recording and redo this bit. I got onto the topic of Solana and I got way too excited. I have a million things in my head that I want to talk about and go over and why it's going to be crazy for the project. But I had to go into Google Doc and write these things down so I can go through it more coherently. Okay, so here's my second attempt on it. Solana is going to be fucking massive for profit bots. What's being built on Solana within the project is a $25 million market cap project in itself. But instead, it's being incorporated into a project that's been around for almost a year plus, proven team, proven deliverables, docs, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the story, right? And here's why. So firstly, eyeballs. We are going to market with a proven and tested product that the market is dying for, the market hasn't seen yet on Solana, and this will attract a ton of eyeballs to our ecosystem, to our following, to our brand, but most importantly to the token. We're not changing the tier system, that remains. We change that, it's just, there's a million reasons to why that's a bad idea. This is going to bring a ton of eyeballs. Solana is where pretty much, let's be honest, the vast majority of the market attention is, and that pains me to say, but it's true, and we've got to act on that. It's where the volume is. This volume is highly beneficial to us for various reasons. One being the transactions going through our Solana router, generating significant revenue for you guys in your revenue share distributions, something that ETH isn't actually able to do at the moment with the frequency of Mooners, the ceiling at which they go to, yada, 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 right? Solana's, we had these, I'm sure some of you guys have seen it, the projections as to the rev share earnings you guys could be getting. that actually will be applicable to Solana. Not necessarily ETH anymore because of just how it is. Perhaps that could change, but this is applicable to Solana. So yeah, the rev share distributions to you guys, but also how high these tokens can go. We saw, there's countless tokens that go to hundreds of millions on Solana. It seems like one goes there every single week, right? And that's because of the volume. That's not so possible on ETH at the moment. We had Neru, but that was once in a blue moon opportunity, but that happened on Solana too as well. I mean, with twice, right, on 2 different Neru tokens. So I think this just provides an awesome foundation of profitability for the guys using the Auto Sniper, okay? It's going to create great demand towards a token, again, brand awareness, and kind of catapult us into where we, I think, truly deserve to be. And you know how users that have been around for a while, there was such frustration around the Auto Sniper taking forever, right? And understandably, we had to build out a scalable solution so you're not having to use Telegram bots. That's just, maybe it's ego, but I wouldn't be seen dead building a business around offering a scalable solution like an Auto Sniper with hundreds of tokens on Telegram, but that's just me. And so we had to build up the terminal. And there was a huge weight to that, but with Solana, we've already got this built out. For our algorithms, and we're doing a neural network, much of this is already built out. And so there isn't that huge weight. I understand, again, how important momentum and awareness is for crypto. I don't want to slip up. I want to constantly keep the ball rolling, constantly keep attention there. And, this is something that's actually really, really close. And it's offering the same scalable, seamless, user-intuitive solutions that we have for ETH. Except with Solana, as quick as we are now on ETH, with Solana, it's instant. It's instant. And also, there's no gas fees. And also, the frequency of mooners is much, much higher. And also, in our backtesting, drawdown has been minimal. I get excited just because this opportunity of Solana is wild. It really is wild. Of course, Solana meme coins and pump and dumping and all this shit's been around for ages, right? It's pretty much been this whole summer. It's been all the rage, right? But what we're doing on it hasn't been. What we're doing hasn't been introduced over there. Projects say they're releasing auto snipers, but they're not auto snipers. They're just sniping random tokens with no ability to sell. There's no actual backed profitable algorithm behind it. That's something we're offering on top of everything else. And it just really, really excites me with just the noise and the attention and the volume that's going to come with it. I think it's going to really set a pretty awesome foundation for us again. And yeah, it just, I don't know. We've begun putting a load of resources as well behind growing the Solana team. We've got some incredibly talented guys, Jimmy leading the team, Adam helping with the AI development, and it'll keep growing. It's something that I think will possibly, and again, keep in mind, I really am ETH maxi, but I really think Solana might actually end up being the face of our ecosystem. It's right now it's hard to see how it wouldn't be. So, not financial advice, but as an investor, I'm just looking at profit. Okay, they've established themselves on Ethereum. They've built, delivered, and proven over the past year. But ETH is only 10-20% of the market share at the moment. They're building out towards Solana. They're showcasing results. What's going to happen there? I think, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but it's right in front of you. It's a crazy opportunity. And these next few months, I am just going to be glued to my screens, making sure that everything goes perfectly. I think the whole team we're all just crazy excited about this. Anyway, so I'll stop rambling about Solana, but truly it's an awesome opportunity and I can't wait for everyone to begin with it. I think, before we launch it, we will ensure that there are wallets provided to everyone. We're showcasing the profitability. We'll have users test it beforehand. Just making sure, this isn't we have our mishaps and we launched ETH. This won't happen with Solana. We'll make sure everything's perfect. We learn from our mistakes. It'll be executed perfectly. And again, this is something that really is right around the corner. So you're not going to be snapping your hands for too long. yeah, anyway, I'll stop there. Okay, this video is dragging out. Sorry, I don't want to, I won't be rambling for too much longer, but I just want to talk about one more thing. That is market awareness, tax revenue. This is sort of admin stuff. Not tax revenue, sorry, token tax, and cash tags. So we'll begin on, I mean, they all kind of tie to, well, brand awareness and cash tags kind of tie together. So I'll begin on them. I think, I said this again, I said this before, having a 7-character cash tag, and if anyone who doesn't know what a cash tag is, it essentially is on Twitter, if you do $ and then grok, your cash tag will be clickable. You click on it and you can see all the tweets about grok. With Profit, we're 7 characters, which means you can't, and there's no social proof or social history of people talking about the token, which for a marketing man, as I claim to be, that is just, I will take any hate that you may have because it's just stupid. And we're just considering, haven't made any decision yet, and I'll keep everyone in the loop, but I'm just considering the best course of action to take around this. I just think for us to hit the marks we want to hit, we have to have a token ticker, like for example $pro or $prof, whatever it might be, that is 6 characters or below. And I just all I'm doing here is just mentioning my interest and possibility into it. I recognize that token migrations can be pretty painful, especially, it loses all your token history, right? And that's really important to some outside investors as one of the downfalls. Should it happen, I wouldn't do it without vast majority community approval, and I also wouldn't do it without backing it upon the release of something whereby, token demand would be following that event. I think it's potentially 1 step back, 2 steps forward in the long term, but I know many crypto investors are very short term. So there's all these pros and cons, but I just wanted to mention it. It's a really important aspect of brand awareness, and it's certainly a step that needs to be taken if we want to get to the hundreds of millions, which is of course our goal. And yeah, second thing that kind of relates to that too is token tax. Token tax, right now we're at 5.5. That's been around for far too long. That needs to go. I've got plans to get rid of that very, very soon as well, most likely in the next few months. What does that bring? That brings a ton of volume. That is more attractive to whales. It counteracts some of the liquidity issues by, you're now saving 5%. There's no reputable project above 100 mil that still have tax. It's ridiculous. It's also much more attractive for us to get onto central exchanges, so we can start looking to reputable ones like Bybit. And we could also, perhaps this is up for debate, as some may see it as unattractive, but bring in market makers, whereby if you have big investments, you can exit and enter more easily through these market making people / bots. Anyway, those are just the last aspects, were just points of discussion, points that I'm just thinking about and wanted to keep you in the loop on. Token tax has to go. I'm working on something for that to go. And then cash tags to give us brand awareness and that kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of insight as to why I've, and many of us in the team, have put in hundreds of thousands into the token, no intent to sell. Things are incredibly exciting. I have a complete bonfire in my stomach. I'm incredibly motivated, excited, glued to my screens and wanting to improve everything every single day. I see all feedback, I see all criticism, I know what needs to be worked on. You can keep reminding me, that's completely fine, but I will show you and will prove to you over the coming weeks / months / years that everything will be improved, everything is being improved, and we won't stop until everyone is off to the races. So yeah, incredibly exciting future for ProfitBot. I think this is kind of season 1 of the project. There's a ton of scalable solutions that can be done, like doing business to business, that could really start getting us to exciting numbers like 500 mil plus. But let's just get the brass tacks done first, and then we can start theorizing on how we can hit these $500 billion market caps. Yeah, awesome. It was good speaking. I love doing this kind of thing. Open to any comments, feedback, criticism, and look forward to the future. So much going on.